Hey guys, Savage Red Recovery back for another video. How are my savages doing today? Today we're getting into a topic on a video of a rant that Tomi Lahren had did about being a conservative and how she's not a feminist, and we're going to break down who hurt her and why she's so bitter and bashing men, even though she's not a feminist and she's a conservative. But before we do that, guys, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, go and hit the subscribe button, get all my notifications. 30% of you guys are not subscribed to my channel. If you guys would like to support the channel, leave a like, a comment, a share. Help me with the algorithm to help this channel grow. If you guys like what I do, you guys can check out my Cash App down in the description. You can also check out my Patreon down in the description. If you guys want to see my photography, you can go to IG or Instagram and see me at Savage Red or Savage_Red_Studios. That's got all of my photography that I've been doing, and also my second channel, which is my channel about photography and my growth through that medium, is Savage Red Studios, where I'm dropping videos of where I started from and where I'm at now through the process of learning about a camera and my passion in photography. Let's get into it, guys.
Something as of recently has been on my mind, and I consider myself a teacher, a helper, someone who could possibly inspire people to be better. So with that being said,
you're a teacher and a helper. What exactly are you teaching and which way are you helping? Because you can already tell by your context and the tone in your voice that you're going to be condescending to men. And the fact of the matter is that you think that you have something to offer to tell men how to get you when you had a fiance that you and him split up and are no longer engaged as the first of this year. So clearly, if you had something to bring to the table, you would have ended up being married to this man, and you could then tell us how you became married. But all you can tell us at this point is how you had a man give you a $50,000 ring and you didn't get to keep it, and you're not his wife. So what do you have to teach or let me know or think, or why is your opinion important to men, seeing as you didn't run across that finish line and get married? Please tell me.
This is a PSA for all the men out there and all the boys who think they're men, but they're actually boys. This is going to be the summer of canceling boys. Now, from my own personal experiences and the experiences of all of my friends, which range in age from 24 to 36, we've all got issues. Now, I will also say this. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men.
Well, Tomi, I can guarantee that all the women that you know have an issue with men, because guess what? They probably date men. Just like if I was to go through all the people that I've ever walked across, met, seen in a gas station, seen at Walmart, seen at the mall, went and they served me fucking coffee or ice cream, or they gave me my fucking bags at the grocery store after they bagged them, and they happen to be men, I'm assuming that all of them have had issues with women if they end up dating women. Like, wouldn't that make sense? Like, I don't think there's anyone on this earth that hasn't had a problem with the sex that they date. Like, I don't know why you think that you women should be like unicorns. Like, no men should ever have done anything to you or wronged you or not let the relationship or whatever go the way that you thought it was going to go, because just because you're successful doesn't mean anything. Just because you're pretty doesn't mean anything. Most of these men might not like your personality. Maybe you don't offer anything that these men actually want. Just because you see value in yourself does not mean that you actually have value. And no man that you're trying to get is going to think that you being successful means anything to him, because the fiance that you had, he was tall, he was rich, he was famous, and he had enough money to spend $50,000 on your engagement ring that you had to give back. Yet It didn't matter if you were successful or not because he was. So you might think in your mind that, oh, well, I'm successful and I got things going on. He don't give no shits. Us men don't care. We don't care how successful you are. That doesn't do anything for us. That doesn't make us hot. Like, we don't judge women based on the idea that they're successful. We base them on the idea if they're going to bring simplicity to our life or they're going to make it more complicated. And with your attitude and the way that you talk, I'm sure I can assume that you are not the most easy woman to get along with. I'm just saying. And all your women that are successful, they probably are similar to that. Because the men that they want, like the man you were engaged to, was part of the top 5% of men. And that 5% of men has 20 of you that are in his DMs or trying to talk to him or trying to have dinner with him or trying to meet him. So you have to bring something more than I'm successful and I'm pretty to the table with a man that's got plenty of women that are pretty and successful and want to meet him. Just saying.
And you have to start looking at that and thinking, if an age range of that many people, including myself, living really all over the country and being blonde, brunette, short hair, long hair, I mean, tan, super white, super pale. I mean, these women range in every body type and everything. They're all successful, they're all intelligent, they're all good people. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think, it might not be us. It might be you.
Well, of course you think that it's not you because that's what women do. Women always cast blame to somebody else. But unfortunately, what you're not getting to realize is that men aren't the ones that set these crazy beauty standards, which is a false narrative that you're already pushing. 2, again, maybe your standards are too high. That could be it. Maybe 3, you have a bad attitude and you're not as helpful as you think you are and men don't want to put up with it. Or 5, maybe instead of you not getting married to the fiance that you had, maybe if you weren't trying to level up or get someone that was better, just maybe, it sounds like you broke it off with your fiance and you got into another relationship with somebody and you thought that was going to pan out, but he really wasn't about it. He didn't want you like that. He was just having sex with you or talking to you or whatever he was doing, and he was talking to other women and you didn't get what you thought you were going to get, and now you're sad and burned and upset. The fact of the matter is, just because someone doesn't want to date you or be with you doesn't mean that they're treating you poorly. You were engaged. You had a man that wanted to marry you. You could have gotten married and then we wouldn't be having this conversation. And for you to say that you've been having this problem for a few years, but you were just engaged, so what does that mean you were doing through your engagement? Tell me. Can you tell me? How did you have this problem through your engagement with men? Because if you were having this problem with your fiance, you would have said no to him when he asked you to marry him, correct? So he can't be that bad of a guy if he asked you to marry him and you said yes, right? Or is it that it didn't work out the way you thought it was, so now that whole time was a problem? And it's men's fault. Like, you have no personal responsibility in this, right? Because all the men you've dated, the only common denominator within these men are you. But you're going to castigate to men. And those women that are in their 30s that spent their time being a career woman and they're successful, they have a lot of male traits. And men don't like dating men. If they did, they would be gay. So if you're going to have long hair or short hair or curves or heavy or white or black or tan or brown, and you act like a man, but you're a woman, that is a turnoff to men. Just saying.
It might be men. Now, I've often talked about the pussification of America and how men are no longer men. I talk to my mom about this a lot, and she says, well, maybe it's just the guys in Texas. Maybe it's just the guys in Los Angeles. Maybe it's just the guys. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. They, quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country in the age range of about 20 to I think about 55, maybe even 60.
So men all over the country from the ages of 20 to maybe 60, so 40 years, a 40-year gap, those men are all trash across the country. Okay? But you have women that are famous for having sex with famous men. You have women that are famous for twerking and showing their bodies off and being sluts. So let me get this straight. So men are no longer men and they're pussified and they're trash. But do you know when men were actually men? Back when women were in the workforce, when men did all the jobs, when women were women. But unfortunately, women have become men these days. So men have been moved out of their position. So if you want to bring men back to being men, so what you should do is you should stop working, and you should, before you stop working, you should start making a movement to get more women out of the workspace so men can take those jobs and men can be more successful and men can be men again. But if you want to compete with men and you want to take their spots and you want to take their jobs and then you want to talk down to us, well, you're probably going to have less people that act like men, because men work on having a purpose. And a lot of us men don't have purposes because we've been pushed out of our rightful space. So you can't complain that men aren't men anymore, but at the same time want their jobs, and you want to take the positions they had and then complain that they're not doing the thing that you want them to do. Yet women used to be women and women used to be helpers, and they're not helpers anymore. If they were helpers, then you would have married your husband and been married and you would have helped him. But instead, you couldn't do that and you're not married, and now you're on the internet complaining about men and how they're trash and just being bitter. You're not even helping men. You're just talking shit. Huh, it's weird.
A lot of men are trash. A lot of men don't know how to treat women. A lot of men don't know how to really, quite frankly, pull their heads out of the sand and pay attention. So I am going to help you. And these are some of the things that I've experienced, and these are some of the things my friends have experienced. I'm just going to lay a few things out. They haven't all happened to me. Some of them have just happened to my friends. A lot of them have happened to me. So the first thing, and I've made notes, by the way. I've made notes. This is how invested I am in this, because I've been thinking about this for about 2 weeks solid now. First question for men. If you like a girl, if you're even somewhat interested in a girl, you need to ask yourself this question. Are you single?
Well, see, Tommy, I disagree with you, because men do know how to treat women. The problem is there's not many women who treat like women. I don't know if you remember, like, back in the day when women would go to school for be polite and to be class and gracious and all those things. They don't do that anymore. Instead, you have loudmouth women that don't know how to control themselves or act like a woman or be a lady. There aren't many ladies out here. So what you're saying is you want all of the men to act traditionally, but you don't want to be a traditional woman. So you want to move the goalpost on women, but not on men. And with you saying, well, are you single? Well, guess what? Women cheat just as much as men do. Okay, so why is it that, like, we all know women keep multiple dudes on deck? There's always a group of simps that are rolling around in their phone, and they pick the best one. You're upset that you're used to not being rejected and always getting your way, and finally someone rejected you, and you're upset and hurt about it. Like, you guys used to play around with dudes back in the day and break their hearts, and now that you're old, in your 20s, late 20s, mid 30s, you don't get to do the same thing anymore. Now men get to play you. See, back when we were 20 and we weren't worth a shit and you could play us, that was fair. But now that you guys are getting older, you can't do the same thing, and now you're upset. You're upset that the tables have turned, and now we don't have to do what you say anymore, and that's why you're bothered. And just so you know, guys, in this video, I'm not going to play the rest of the video because it's like a 15-minute video. If you guys want to go look it up, you can find the full video. It's just her for 15 minutes talking shit on men and her pretty much like dry gloating or like dry bragging on herself. But at the end of the day, value of something is only based on the person that actually is looking for. Just because you think you're a 10 means that you think you're a 10. That doesn't mean the people that walk by you think you're a 10. The idea that beauty is in the eye of the beholder is correct. If the person viewing you doesn't see value in you, then you have no value. But in this video, guys, she talks about how she has men that hit her up and ask her how to get women like her. I'm going to let you know right now, the guy she was engaged to was a motherfucking alpha. All right? He was not a beta cuck. No self-respecting man is going to message a woman and ask, how do I get a hot woman or be with a woman like you or your friends? Those are beta cucks. And she is just telling you that men hit her up saying that because she wants you to understand that she perceives that as having value, even though those are the men that she's complaining about in this video. And she's also complaining about those alphas that don't want to settle down with her. I'm sorry, Tommy. You fucked up and you decided to walk out or not make it work with the alpha that you had. You had him. He gave you a $50,000 ring for an engagement. He was willing to marry you, and you weren't able to seal the deal. The only thing you have to say is that you fucked up. Not us men, not all the other guys. You, Tommy. As always, guys, thank you for watching the video. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments. Always subscribe, like, share. Help me with the algorithm. Check out my description. Check out the Patreon. As always, guys, stay savage.